Hey there, welcome to sketch number 8. This is what the sketch looks like for this lesson, and it has one photo surrounded by some strips of pattern paper. There's a piece of paper backed on a 12 by 12 sheet. Of course, if you wanted to, you could definitely just take this back paper off and just do an 8.5 by 11 if that's the size that you scrap. So these sketches can definitely be adapted to the different sizes that you scrapbook. So I'm going to use this photo here, and this is a photo of my daughter at the Golden Spike National Monument where the Transcontinental Railroad, the last spike was put in place. And this is a layout where I wanted to show you how you can use a sketch with one photo to also balance a lot of other stuff. So I have all of this memorabilia. I have 3 postcards, and I have a little brochure, as well as this little smashed penny from when we went to the Golden Spike National Historic Site. And this is not all going to fit on one layout. You can see that just from looking at all this stuff. It probably wouldn't fit on one layout. And I don't know that it would look nice all on one layout. So what my plan is to, and I have a lot that I want to say about this, because my daughter had to do a little report for school, and she decided to go and film a little video up at the at the Golden Spike National Monument, which is close to our house. I mean, it's a couple hours away. But she filmed a little video for her class all about it, and she went and explained each detail of like what happened as they were building it and why the Golden Spike was important and all that kind of stuff. So I have a lot that I want to say, and this sketch is perfect because it has a lot of room for journaling, but I also want to include all of these things. So what I plan to do is to do this 12 by 12 layout, and then I'm also going to include a 6 by 12 little pocket next to it. And I don't have any 6 by 12 pockets. I've used all of mine, but I do have this page protector that has a bend in it. I don't know if you can really see it. So this is a perfect one for me to cut down and make into a 6 by 12 pocket. So I will be making a little pocket to go on the side of it, and I might actually cut it smaller than 6 by 12. Just depends on how it works out, but I might cut it to just fit the size of the brochure and different things. So as we get going along, I will show you how I'm going to do that. But first, I'm going to create this part of the layout, and then we'll come back and do the smaller 6 by 12 portion of it. Okay, so I want to show you the patterns I'm going to be working with. I am going to make this, I'm going to bring some red in because I showed you those postcards are all pretty much have red on them. But I'm also going to use aqua. And so I've pulled this map print, and I'm going to use this for one of my strips, and then I'm going to use 2 aqua pieces for my strips as well. And then I pulled this red stripe that I think I'm going to just put a little border on the side of the main piece, which I've just cut a piece of cardstock, white cardstock, down to 8.5 by 11. And so I'm going to lay it all on this piece of paper. This is from the Maggie Holmes Shine Collection. And it's just a subtle ledger, which I think is nice. And I'm going to center that just how it is on the sketch. And because my photo, if you look at my photo, the lines are leading up and to the left. And so rather than stick my photo right here with the journaling on the side and have my daughter kind of walking off the page, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to flip this entirely, but I'm just going to kind of mirror it so that my journaling goes on this side and that my photo is on the very right. And then, so I'll have my photo, my journaling strips, and my title, and then I'll have my journaling. So it's going to be a little bit different. And so I'm just going to get these little strips cut down. I chose the wood grain because there's these wood pieces on the railroad track. And so I'm going to use that, as I mentioned. And I'm just going to, before I decide how long I want these pieces to be, now at most it can be however long this piece is, because that's the only scrap of paper I have from that. But I'm just going to cut some thin strips of these, and I'm not measuring them. I'm just going to kind of play around with it until I get something that I like. And I think I might put this at the bottom because it has the heaviness of the wood on that one, and this one feels a little bit lighter how it's faded, and I might trim that down as well. And then I'm also going to take my map paper, and this will just be a thin piece that I put in, so maybe I'll leave that piece larger. And I'm just going to kind of figure out how this is going to go. So something like that. So we'll see if I end up liking that. For now, I think it looks okay. And what I've decided to do for my title, I pulled a bunch of different gold stickers that I thought might work. And because I'm going to have my title be Golden Spike, I thought it was only fitting to use a gold alphabet. So I'm going to play around with these and see what fits in here. I like the idea of using these because for some reason it's just reminding me of railroad, and I know that it's kind of like it is called Buckaroo, which seems kind of Western or something, but it also reminds me of like a marquee light. So we'll see. I'm gonna play around with these and see what looks the best, and then I'll come back and show you what I've decided. Okay, so I went ahead and chose my letters, and honestly I chose them based on what would fit and what I actually had the letters for. So I used these Maggie Holmes letters. This comes with tons and tons of alphabet stickers. So I used those, and then I thought it would be nice if I just wanted to leave this extended to the length of that particular paper, that I could just put National Historic Site underneath the words Golden Spike, and then there is just enough space for me to put this little smashed penny on the side, and I kind of like that. So I think that's what I'm going to do for my title. And then, so what I'll do is I'll cut down these papers so that they match up to the same length as this one. And then for this paper, what I'm going to do, I am going to leave it on the side here, I think. And what I'm going to do is use my notebook edge punch from EK Success, and I'm just going to punch a notebook edge in this. Because this was a school project, I feel like the notebook really works here. Okay, and I'm just going to have it just peek out the side so it doesn't take up too much. I don't want it to be overwhelming. And so I'll just get these cut down and get this all stuck down, and then I'm going to write my journaling. I'm just going to hand write it on the side here, and then I'll come back and show you how I'm going to embellish this, and then we'll get working on the 6x12 So page. Before I get my journaling down, I just wanted to show you how I'm going to adhere this penny. So I have these, they're called zips, they're clear adhesive lines, and they are just lines of adhesive. It's kind of like a glue dot, but in a line. And so I just have some Teflon coated scissors that I'm going to cut this to fit the size of my penny. And then I can just stick it to the back. I think that's going to hold this the best. And let's see. There we go. And that just fits right in there. Yeah, that'll work great. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and write my journaling and get this strip stuck down, and then like I mentioned, we'll come back and do the rest of the embellishing. Okay, so now I have got my journaling down and I've got this glued on, and as I mentioned, I had a lot to say. So I'm just going to adhere this whole piece to the background. And I'm just going to center that. And now I want to do a little bit of embellishing. Okay, so I totally thought I was going to go with Today Was Fun and play up the red, but I found this globe that is from the Maggie Holmes Shine chipboard sheet, and I just love the way that it looked. And it does have a bit of kind of a reddish color, so I feel like it can still go with this without being super red, and so I decided to not go with this red piece because that doesn't really work with it anymore to me. And so I found also this little sticker that says Follow Your Heart, that's from that same collection's sticker sheet. And then this little floral piece is from a super old Basic Grey, it's Spice Market, it's a waterfall pack, and I don't think they make these anymore, and actually Basic Grey is going out of business, but they were really awesome because they had die cuts and cards and stickers and alphabets. And so anyway, I just found that little floral there, which I thought would be nice to include, and then again the Follow Your Heart little sticker there. So I'm going to make that into this little cluster down here. And then to go along with Follow Your Heart, which I thought was perfect on these railroad tracks, right? Following this path and following your path, following your heart. And so a butterfly also signifies that to me. So I pulled the butterfly from the chipboard sheet, and I'm going to use that. And I am still going to, I think, use a couple of these stars to just sprinkle a few. And I have a few more that I can use. Let's see, I have some that are cork and some that are wood. And so I'm going to try to use a little bit of both. And I want to save some for the opposite, the facing page, because I want to make sure those coordinate. So I'm just going to play around with the placement of these, and maybe I don't need to put something right there. I was kind of feeling like I needed that there, but so I'm going to keep this one fairly simple just because I'm going to have that the other half of the layout on the facing page. So I'm going to move all of this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to gather my supplies for the facing page, and I'll come back and show you how I'm going to make this 6x12. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and actually I'm going to make it so that my 6x12 comes right before this layout, because I want, first of all, I talked about how I wanted my daughter looking into the page. Well, that way you're not looking this way and then going to the next thing, which is supposed to go with this. It all kind of flows together. And then these two pieces will kind of be the book ends. And so what I did here was I just cut a 6x12 piece of white cardstock, and then rather than glue any of this down, I'm just paper clipping it into place with this Arrow paper clip. And that's so that if anyone wants to read about the Golden Spike, they can pull this stuff out. I didn't feel the need to write about the actual Golden Spike because my story was about what my daughter did for her school project, and I don't care about the facts of the Golden Spike National Historic Site. People can look that up, or they can come over here and read it. So I'm just leaving that so that it's easy to pull in and out. And I just found this sticker from the Maggie Holmes Shine collection, and this is from the Maggie Holmes Shine chipboard. So that's where most of my things have come from. Now, I had another cork star like this, and I lost it on the floor. I can't find it anywhere. So what I'm going to do is temporarily adhere this wood one, but I plan to replace it with my cork star so that there is a consistency across the layout. And I'm going to glue this one down. So what I've done is just, you can kind of tell, created a little, where these kind of all fit together like this, I used the extra space to kind of form a little piece around it. And then what I'm going to do now is add a little bit of that red pattern paper, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with it before. I'm going to punch it, and I'm just going to put a little bit underneath Find What Makes You Happy, and lift it. Okay, go ahead and stick it down, and then stick this down. Oops, now there's a little, that piece isn't cut, so I don't want that to be in there. Now let's see what this looks like all together. I think I like it. It mimics this side. So I am, even though this is just a 6x12, I am taking cues from the original sketch to create the facing layout, just so that it kind of coordinates. So I'll just trim that down a little bit. And I'm going to adhere this right here. And I'll put the map print above it. and it needs a little bit of trim. There we go. Stick the flower back down and stick that back down. Okay, so now I've got a facing page that looks like it belongs with the other page, and I think I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to add, because this is the golden spike, I'm going to add a little bit of Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine. So I'm just going to add it where I've added embellishment. So just right in here. Oh, I didn't shake it up enough. You definitely want to make sure to shake up your color shine, because the color does settle and you won't get good splatters if you don't do that. So I might have a little bit of a weird watery look on this side, but that's okay. And I'll do some over here. Okay, so here are the finished layouts side by side. I did decide to stitch on this. So I stitched, let me just bring it up here so you can see it. I stitched down this line where I had the notebook edge coming, and I think I'm gonna just fluff this up a little bit. Anytime I have the notebook edge punch, I like to fluff it up. And now that it's stitched down, it's really secure, so that'll be good. And then I stitched here, here, and here. And then on this layout, I followed that same pattern and I stitched here and here. And then I stitched my 6x12 pocket closed. And let me just give you a little piece of advice. When you're stitching these page protectors yourself, start on the side that is already closed, because if you start on the open side, it's really easy for it to get bunched up. So I started here and went down. So now I can just slip this little page inside this pocket. If it fits, looks like it will just fit. Perfect. So now I have, oops, and I had said I wanted to do it the opposite way. So I do want to have it facing this page so that it's on the left-hand side of this page rather than the right. There we go. So this is how the finished product will end up. Here you can see the original sketch. So I did keep fairly close to it. I just switched this little piece with the journaling so that those two are flopped. And I used the sketch, or the kind of the idea of the sketch, to mimic the little lines here on the facing page so that I could get a look that coordinated with this layout. So I hope that you have enjoyed watching this process, and that you'll give something like this a try if you have extra memorabilia, or even if you just have more photos you want to include but you want to focus on one photo with a lot of story. This is a great way to do that and put some of it on a facing page, or you can put your whole story in the 6x12 pocket, something like that. So be sure to check out Tracy's take on this sketch, and we will see you in the next one.